Hey, Anthony,
Yeah.
what's going on with SNAP benefits now that we're in November?
Well, because the Republicans don't want to give health care to millions of Americans, they have decided to hold 42 million Americans food security hostage. And as a result, those 42 million Americans, which includes 16 million children, as well as seniors, disabled people, and many more, are facing food shortages across the country starting today. All of this, again, because the Republican majority Congress wants to cancel Biden era health subsidies that allow those same Americans that are now facing food shortages, as well as many millions more, to access affordable health care across the country. And the Republican majority Congress will not pass the budget until those healthcare subsidies are ended.
Didn't two federal judges block Trump from removing SNAP benefits?
Yes, but it's not that simple. Basically, what happened is that on Friday, two federal judges ordered the U.S. Department of Agriculture, which is the department that administers SNAP benefits, to use a $6 million contingency fund the department has set aside for emergencies. This is the same contingency fund, by the way, that up until a few weeks ago, Republicans were pointing to and arguing could be used to fund SNAP benefits during a shutdown, going as far to note in an official document on the USDA's website about the shutdown that is what the contingency fund was for. That document has since been deleted, of course, and the Republicans are now arguing that the USDA somehow can't use the fund because it may be needed for emergencies like the approach of a hurricane, which, apparently to the Republicans, 42 million Americans facing starvation is not an emergency, but a hypothetical hurricane is. And I think that just really goes to show how calculated this weaponization of food security by the Republicans is. They're trying to force Democrats into a position where they have to choose between people starving or people potentially dying because they don't have access to health care, and they're hoping that this shortage, will force the Democrats' hand. So, unfortunately, no, I don't think it's as clear cut as a couple of federal judges ordering the SNAP benefits to be paid out. This contingency fund certainly does exist, but given the Republicans' sudden flip flopping on its use, now that people are actually pushing for it, I think it's likely that they will face legal challenges. And unfortunately, even if the fund was released today and SNAP benefits started to be paid out again. For people that don't have money on their SNAP cards, in some states it can take up to a week just to load the cards in the first place. So we're looking at least a week, if not longer, where millions of Americans may not have access to adequate food. And unfortunately, that number is so high that, this isn't something that can be crowdfunded. It's not something that states can take on by themselves, especially not the states that are going to be most heavily impacted by this, which is, of course, poor Republican states. So while I do think it was the right ruling by the federal judges to order this contingency fund used for SNAP benefits, considering that is, of course, the thing it was meant for in the first place, I don't think that it means a quick fix to the food shortages. We're looking at least a week where Americans will not have access to food, all again because Republicans don't want to pay out health care benefits to the poor.